Good afternoon. As we begin this edition at 4 p.m., back-to-back incidents of communal violence that had flared up. Republic is now getting you a ground report from Savli in Gujarat, where communal clashes had erupted. What is the inside truth? Eyewitness accounts coming in.
पिछले 6 महीने में देखें तो 28 बार कम्युनल राइट हो चुके हैं। यहाँ पे छोटी मोटी घटना हो चुकी है और कितनी घटना तो ऐसी है जहाँ पे पुलिस स्टेशन में जाके दोनों पार्टी सामने बैठ के समाधान किया हुआ है। उन लोगों ने समाधान तो किया है, लेकिन इतना ज़्यादा हम देखें तो 100 से अधिक राइटिंग के गुने हुए हैं, लेकिन 28 उसमें पुलिस स्टेशन में दर्ज हुए हैं। तो यहाँ पर जो स्थानिक पटेल समाज और वणिक समाज है, उन्होंने 30% तो माइग्रेशन यहाँ से हो चुका है।
Lot of communal clashes that seem to be breaking out in the pockets of Gujarat. We are reporting on the ground here in Savli near Vadodara district, in fact, where we are reporting how there was a lot of clashes that had broken out. Thousands of people had come out on the streets, and now as a result of that, we are seeing 2 FIRs that have been registered, one against the people of the Hindu community and the other from the Muslim community as well. These 2 communities had come face to face and there was an issue that had broken out. Let's tell our viewers what exactly had happened. So what you see around me are a lot of poles here that have saffron flags, and what essentially had happened at one particular pole, as this one what you see behind me, is the place where there was a saffron flag, and also there was people who had climbed on top of this pole and tried to put in a green flag as well. So that is why this entire issue had broken out, and the people had come face to face, and there were stone pelting as well that had broken out. There were thousands of people, in fact, who had come face to face, and stone pelting that had gone on day before yesterday's night is when this entire incident happened, and yesterday is when the police had taken cognizance of it. And what you also see is this particular area that is communally sensitive as well, because this is a temple that has been located, and right next to that is also a dargah. This is the place of Savli, and we see in near the Savli police station as well that this dargah and this temple in fact had been located. And however, officials tell us that the entire place here has been communally, peacefully, harmoniously existing, but now we see that these kind of clashes that had broken out, and which is why the police has taken a swift action and has registered complaint from both the communities. At least 34 to 35 people from both the communities have been detained. Their complaint had also been registered.
Priyanka is now joining us live on the broadcast. Priyanka, we just saw your report. You've been on the ground interacting with a lot of people on who exactly was responsible for the provocation and how this erupted and escalated from there on. Really to get a sense of what is happening now, Priyanka, the investigation that is continuing, and even as most of these people are being questioned, who all have been held accountable?
Well, Suesha, we have been on the ground here in Savli for quite some time, and we've spoken to a lot of people here, the eyewitnesses and also some of the people who had been present there during the time that these clashes had been going on. And what we also heard those eyewitnesses talking about was how there have been several such clashes over the past 6 to 7 months that have been breaking out. And of course, authorities have also confirmed that because of the elections also coming by, there are several such people who are trying to instigate these kind of attacks as well. Remember, we saw these kind of clashes that had broken out day before yesterday in the wee hours of the night, when it was in fact regarding one of the flags that was being put on a pole near to the place where there is a temple and a dargah as well in the Savli city. And now we also see that just the day after that, there was a massive bike rally that had also been carried out by several organizations of religious communities, and they were of course also trying to politicize this entire issue, is what we were being given to understand, post which the police then also had to take cognizance of this entire issue and also register FIRs against the people who were on the ground creating this kind of an unrest, creating this kind of a law and order situation on the ground there in Savli. And now we see that the police in fact had also taken them into custody. They had been arrested. The people who had been on the ground creating these kind of clashes, at least 20 people and 20 people in one FIR and 25 in the other FIR had been arrested, and they have now been let go as well, since it was a bailable offence that had been registered of rioting against these people who had been on the ground creating this kind of a ruckus. But Suesha, we need to, at these instances, take a step back and also analyze how there have been several such clashes, just like the one that took place in Savli, in certain areas of Gujarat. Specifically, if we talk about just last night, where a similar such incident had taken place in Kheda as well. That comes in the Anand district, and that there as well we had seen that this kind of a communal clash had broken out in another celebration of Navratri that was being carried out there in Kheda. When there were 2 to 3 people who had come there and tried to pelt stones and tried to shut down the celebrations as well. And of course, then we saw what had happened in Savli, subsequently there in Porbandar, in Dwarka, in Bharuch, all of these places where we see these kind of clashes that are breaking out. And of course, there are certain people who are trying to politicize that issue as well. And we see these kind of clashes that are breaking out. And of course, we are on the ground getting what exactly was happening. And what we saw was that several people had, of course, mobilized during the time that these clashes had taken place and tried to pelt stones, tried to in fact make this entire issue even bigger. Is what the police has given us to understand. And the police had also stated and understood and accepted that it is obviously also because of the nearby elections that are coming up, because of which there are certain people in certain communities and organizations who are trying to create this kind of a situation on the ground as well. And that is exactly what happened in Savli, because we are the only channels on the ground getting you the truth about what had been going on. But the police, of course, is also on alert now. They're claiming that several more officials have been deployed, because this entire issue was happening because of a certain festival also coming up in a couple of days, because of which these flags were being tied to these poles. And the police has said that they will be carrying out more deployment of the authorities to make sure that the people feel the presence of the police.
Yes.
And they are also think twice before creating these kind of a law and order situation on the ground situation.
In fact, a couple of these points that you've mentioned, Priyanka, that I wanted to touch upon, but please hold on with us at the moment. Many other reports that you've filed, let's play that out for our viewers, after which I come back to you.
We have now reached the exact spot where this entire clashes that had broken out, since there is a dargah and a temple that were nearby, and there was the question of the flag that was being tied to a pole, one of the Hindu community which was saffron in color, the other of the Muslim community that was green in color, and that is why this entire clashes had broken out to tie the flags. In fact, there is a procession that was all set to be carried out by both the communities, which is why these decorations were being made. As you can see, these flags, in fact, even now that have been left intact, but we do see flags like these, in fact, that were being tried to be tied at a pole in those particular areas. And we do have several people, in fact, who had been present there, because as of now what we have seen is that there were people from both the communities that came face to face, and there were clashes that had broken out, stone pelting that had actually in fact also broken out between the two communities. The police has taken cognizance of this entire issue. 2 FIRs have been lodged with people of both the communities. They had been detained, they had been arrested.